these things they're trying to say about the two-thirds, all these other things. It's the actors up there. That's who we need to change. We need citizen legislators who are there for a specific period of time, who make the laws based on what is in the best interest of the state, and then go home and live and work under the rules they make. How's that for a concept? So when I looked at the next, Michigan pays their legislators $79,000. So not only is the discrepancy there with it being unlimited full time, the pay. Why are we giving our legislators $115,000 a year?
Because they voted for
their staffers get lifetime health benefits after 5 years of service. 5 years of service in any legislative staff position. When you're 50, lifetime health benefits. Average salary for a staffer, $100,000. It's all coming out now. So we got the addition of language back. The Attorney General has 45 days to get the language back to you. And we got the language back and started to float this idea around. And I don't know if you know on KFI, John and Ken. Oh, man. They ran with this like crazy. They called up and they said, we want John at 5 o'clock. I went, oh my God, they're going to barbecue me. I'm going to be a head on a stick. But no, they picked right up. They've been very, very helpful. And we really picked up a lot of steam. There's been a lot of publicity. The mainstream media has now picked up on it. The Sacramento Bee is now doing investigative reporting on the legislature, on their staff, on everything. They're all over them like a bad rash. I mean, the Sacramento Bee is out after it. So in August, I got a call that the governor wanted to see me. Talk to me about reform. But I had to ask him, for the appointment. I said, okay, let's ask for the appointment. If he'll see us and wants to talk to us, well, this is fantastic. So I flew up in August and talked to him about, what's going on under the Capitol. And he said, why did you pick this part-time legislature? I thought of it in 2004, which is true. He talked about it in a newspaper article. And I said, well, we took your good idea, did something with it, but the people are angry. They're hurting. Do you have any idea what's going on out there? The jobs that are lost, the health care. I mean, people are in a world of hurt. They're losing their homes. Yeah. And they want to punish someone. And all fingers point up here. And he said, how did you get on John and Ken? I listen to them every day. I said, they called me. And he said that your name and this initiative is the most feared thing in the Capitol. Oh, yes. He said when we were in budget deliberations, they weren't signing the budget. So he said to them, if you don't sign this budget, I'm going to go right out there and I'm going to endorse the part-time legislature. And they signed the budget. That's directly from the governor's mouth. And he said, I'm going to continue to use it. I don't want to come out and endorse it. I think it's a good idea. So when I went back and looked again, what happened in 1966? What was we sort of know with Prop 13, but how did this happen? That's a huge shift from a part-time legislature to a full-time.
Yeah, kind of crossways, because Reagan got elected that year, right? Mm-hmm. Kind of counterintuitive. Well,
what happened, when you start digging down and you start doing this historical research and reading the newspapers and everything, Pat Brown was the governor. In 1960, when he was elected, he came forward with a master plan for California. Remember that? The master plan of education, the waterways, the infrastructure, contract negotiations, minimum wage. But he had a plan. Boom, 12 points. And he said, this is what we're going to do to manage our state. This is a great state. This is the heyday. We're doing great. And we're going to manage, and this is what we're going to do. And we're going to make a world-class university system, because the UC and CSU were flailing at the time. So he's bringing forward this plan for this part-time citizen legislator. and they pass laws that allocate resources that support the plan. How's that for a novel concept? As soon as they're done with setting the budget, they go home and live and work under the rules they make, and there's no air conditioning. That's how it was going back then. It was managed. Jesse Unruh, the Speaker of the Assembly, did not like all the power that Pat Brown had. They were always at odds because he thought the plan should come out of the legislature, not out of the governor's office, and they tell him what to do. So it was a power struggle. So Jesse Unruh got his legislature to pass a series of constitutional revisions, one of which was a full-time legislature. We need a full-time professional legislature to manage this great state. That's an oxymoron. So the people bought it. 1966, 1967, they put air conditioning in all the buildings that were doing business, government business in Sacramento. And what happened is they created a whole new economy in the state of California called the professional political class. Professional politicians who are now getting into their professional career track, and right now it's a 14-year plan, right? It's their 14-year career plan. We're supporting 120 people's 14-year career plan at the expense of 35 million Californians. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Gerald Steinberg said in the summer, when they asked him about the budget, how can you explain all of these ridiculous pieces of legislation like a blueberry commission and cowtail legislation and honey? Really? If it ain't pure honey, it ain't honey. The legislature said so. And he said, I have 120 people here, and they all have ideas. And who are we to tell them they cannot explore their ideas? Wait a minute. You're supposed to be exploring our ideas. Right? Our interests. This is upside down. Are you kidding me? And that has really come back to bite him, by the way, a lot. So all of this stuff is coming out, and there's a lot of this momentum going on. But there's one thing. Our language was very simple. I didn't bring any because we pulled the petition and we refiled an amendment. Everybody kept saying, what about the pay? You're cutting down part-time, but are they going to get that they're part-time? Well, there's a commission that sets their salaries and all that stuff. So we looked at it. It is not an automatic. If their time is reduced, it is not automatic. But then, I think it was in the late 80s, early 90s, they changed the law on initiative and said there's something now called the single subject rule. So you have to be very careful that whatever is on your initiative is directly related to the main intent of what you're trying to accomplish. So we had it evaluated by some constitutional attorneys. What if we add in the pay cut just to make sure we're going to make it very clear that part-time work means part-time pay? Very clear. Because we're trying to change the type of person who gets elected. Somebody of integrity, somebody who wants to serve, not self-serve, somebody who wants to represent a voting constituency and not a cash constituency because they're on a 14-year career plan. Right? So we said we want to put in that when this takes place, part-time legislature, which would be December 2012, their pay is immediately cut by at least 50%. The commission can cut it more, and they're only allowed to increase it for cost of living. That did not, it was very tight language, it was very specific. That did not violate the single subject rule, and we were able to refile on September 11th. Monday, September 14th, a group formed, went into the Secretary of State, and put together a political action committee to formally oppose us.